Yes, sir. I think it's 11 now, sir. Shall we start, sir?
Yes, yes, we can.
Good morning, all. This is Administration Aspirants Council presents Hashtag UPC CSE by Mr. Keethivasan V, AAS, All India rank 29 and Tamil Nadu rank 1. I welcome our staff in charge, Mrs. Ravindra Devi Revati ma'am, to give a felicitation for the speaker.
Yeah, okay. A warm welcome and a great morning to one and all present over here. Administrative Aspirants Council has been started in August 2018 in order to encourage the young engineers who are really interested in administration as well as people who are socially responsible. So I take immense pleasure in welcoming today's speaker, Keerthivasan IAS sir. Sir, I'm very happy to be here as the faculty in charge and students who are behind this Administrative Aspirants Council who are doing a great job in convening all these meetings. It is really a very tough job to convene all types of meetings because all bureaucrats and socially responsible people like you will have a hectic schedule. Amidst of that, you have accepted all our students' request and you are being here with us. Thank you so much, sir. And I welcome you on behalf of Government College of Technology, Coimbatore, as well as the Administrative Aspirants Council. Handing over the session to Rubesh.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for your kind speech. Now, let us hear about the speaker. Over to you, Anand.
Uh, good morning, everyone. I'm Anand Kumar. I'm also the student member of Administration Aspirants Council of GCT. Now, I'm going to introduce our guest speaker, Mr. Keerthivasan IAS sir. Basically, Sir is from Dharmaburi district in Tamil Nadu. Sir has completed his bachelor degree in civil engineering in National Institute of Technology, NIT, Trichy. In his college days, he has designated as the chairman of Pragyan Function, which is well-known annual international technical festival which is held in NIT Trichy. Hence, he is the great administrator from his college days also. After completing his bachelor degree, he spent and utilized 1 year for UPSC CSE examinations preparation in very effective manner. At last gave an attempt in UPSC 2017, that is first attempt for sir. Finally, he attained the rank 1 in Tamil Nadu state level and rank 29 in All India level in very first attempt. He got IAS service in Odisha cadre. He has attained the success other exams like IIT JEE, AIEEE, BITSET, etc. also. Sir is always the man of simplicity, energetic, and service-minded to do the better service to our society. Finally, we have to describe our chief guest in one line: the real young inspiration who has lot of hard work with a lot of smart work. Now, I'm going to handing over the session our chief guest, Mr. Keerthivasan sir.
Thank you so much, Anand. I'm humbled by the introduction. So actually, நான் first தமிழ்ல பேசலாம் தான் பிளான் பண்ணியிருந்தேன், but I believe we do have aspirants from other states also.
Yes, sir.
So if it is convenient for anyone, I would like to address in English.
Yes, sir.
I could take up the specific other questions இருந்ததுன்னா we'll take up in Tamil at the end of the session.
Sure, sir.
I think that is fine with everyone. So firstly, like in the session, this session I will be taking up in 3 sections. So firstly, I would talk about my journey as an aspirant, and in the second section, I would share my screen with you all, and I will share a few of my preparation documents and strategies. And during the third section, we could take up the questions. I got the idea of preparing for UPSC only during my college days. So till then, I didn't have any aspiration to go for the civil services. So during my college days, as Anand had introduced, so I was involved in a lot of activities in the college. So we had this Golden Jubilee celebration for NIT Trichy in 2014. Then the Honorable President was the chief guest for the program, and we had to organize, the college administration had to organize in coordination with the district administration. So that is my first interaction with IAS and IPS officers, and I got to understand what kind of influence they have in the society and how effectively they function, and what is the scope the canvas in which they could work and contribute to the society. So that is how it all started. And my parents and friends, they were also, equally motivating right from the beginning. And my father in particular, he always asked me to keep all my options open. So once I entered NIT, my idea was to, go for higher studies, do a MS, and get a good job. So this was the level of exposure that I had initially, because I did not have much exposure before going to NIT Trichy. So that is where all this evolved. And so in the third year, I decided not to sit for any placements, and I was lucky to get the charge as chairman of my college festival, which is the technical festival Pragyan. So that gave me a lot of exposure, and that helped me build a lot of soft skills during my college days. So for people who are entering college or who are in first, second, third year in college, I would highly recommend that you take active participation in all your college activities. And because I get a lot of queries every day, even 12th class students, 10th class students. So they ask me, Anna, எந்த course எடுத்தா நல்லா இருக்கும், which course would suit me. So see, that is a very early stage to start your preparation, because you'll get clarity over your career prospects only when you get into your third year and final year. So your interest would vary, across your during your college days. So the right time to prepare, I would say, is during your final year or end of third year. So that is when you'll have to take a decision as to whether you're going to sit for a placement, or whether you're going to prepare for UPSC exclusively. So till then, I would recommend that you spend sufficient time in organizing cultural events, organizing technical events, take part in club activities, and also concentrate on your college subjects, and maintain a good CGPA, because all this, your overall personality is what matters, and what would help you clear the UPSC examination. So uh, So during my third year, I decided not to sit for the placements. One reason was that I wanted to give my entire dedication towards the college festival. And the second thing was, I was not inclined towards placement right from the beginning, because I had an aptitude to go for higher studies. So because of these two reasons, I did not sit for placements. And during the final year, I decided that I will take up civil services coaching, and let me try for 2 to 3 years and see if it is working out, or else I would go for higher studies. So this was my basic plan. So after final year, I decided to move to Delhi. So this was a deliberate choice. There is nothing special regarding the coaching that is available in Delhi. I took this choice deliberately because I wanted to stay away uh, from my family, and also from all social gatherings for a while, because such sacrifices during preparation days might be required. And if you give the excuses for not meeting people very often. But again, it is not like you'll have to stay aloof, and you'll have to stay alone throughout. You can still connect with them over phone. These days we do have video call facility, we do have WhatsApp call, Zoom call, and all that. So you can regularly, constantly stay in touch. But I would say one year of dedicated preparation, if that is possible, is highly recommended. But there are many people who ask me, sir, whether கண்டிப்பா கண்டிப்பா 1 year prepare பண்ணணுமா, வேலைக்கு போயிட்டு prepare பண்ண முடியாதா? See, there is no fixed hard and fast rule for this. There are many people who do clear by preparing during their work time as well. So there is no hard and fast rule. But if if your parents are ready to support you, if you have the right backing, and if you are comfortable in preparing for a year's preparation would be highly sufficient for you to crack this examination. So I moved to Delhi, and my entire preparation was based out of Delhi only. So I was I took up classes in Wajiram for a year. It was a foundation course. And again, there are you may have a question asking கண்டிப்பா கோச்சிங் இன்ஸ்டியூட் ஜாயின் பண்ணணுமா, கோச்சிங் இன்ஸ்டியூட் ஜாயின் பண்ணாதான் கிளியர் பண்ண முடியுமா? கண்டிப்பா கிடையாது. that is a total no, because the coaching institute would only help you build the foundation, and they could only give you 5 to 10% of what is required to clear the examination. So with proper effort, with concentrated effort, that 5 to 10% which is given by a coaching institute can be given to yourself by your self preparation also. So only thing is they will help you get focus towards the right direction so that your preparation stays streamlined. And one more advantage with the coaching institute is that it helps you maintain a discipline in your timetable. ஏன்னா இப்போ நீங்கள் கோச்சிங் இன்ஸ்டியூட் போகல, நீங்கள் நீங்களே ஒரு டைம் டேபிள் போட்டு ப்ரிப்பேர் பண்ணுறீங்க அப்படின்னா, நீங்கள் let's say you plan to wake up at 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock or 6 o'clock. Some days it might happen that say okay, today I'll sleep for 2 more hours, today I'll sleep for 3 more hours, let me start from 9. So அந்த discipline maintain பண்றதுன்றது it might be difficult during the initial stages. So whereas இப்போ நம்ம கோச்சிங் இன்ஸ்டியூட் ஜாயின் பண்ணிட்டோம் அப்படின்னா, we have a moral pressure on ourselves to attend the classes, since we have paid a lump sum amount for the classes. So that helps you give a discipline in the timetable that you follow, and that also plays a huge role towards preparing you for the examination. So I joined Vajiram in May or June 2016 after my graduation from NIT, and I took up a foundation course, and along with the foundation course I also took up a optional coaching class in Delhi itself. So initial days my timetable was like in the morning around 8:30 I would go for a class, and again the second class would start around 11:30. So around 6 to 7 hours were occupied in the classes itself, and I would get another 6-7 hours in the evening to prepare. So during the initial days, when you are attending 2 classes, and while in addition to that you'll have to prepare, the timetable gets a little tight, and you might not have sufficient time for preparation. ஸோ எனக்கும் அந்த மாதிரி தான் இருந்தது. லைக் இனிஷியலாக ரெண்டு கிளாஸ், அதுக்கப்புறம் ரிவிஷன் அதெல்லாம் பண்ணுறதுக்கு இனிஷியல் டேஸில் கொஞ்சம் டிஃபிகல்ட்டாக தான் இருக்கும். பட் ஒன்ஸ் இந்த ஆப்ஷனல் கிளாஸஸ் பார்த்தீங்கன்னா இட் வில் கெட் ஓவர் இன் 4 to 5 months. So after those 4 to 5 months, you will get that additional 2.5 hours which you were spending in the optional classes for your self preparation. So then it will start becoming very, very comfortable. So this is how my daily planning was. And before you start, the first thing is you need to have proper awareness regarding the examination pattern. So Rubash, are people aware of the examination pattern, or should I touch upon that as well?
Yes sir, most of them are aware sir.
All right, fine. So you most of you are aware of that since you are preparing already. So as it goes, like prelims there are 2 papers, mains there are 4 GS papers, 2 optional and 1 essay, and 2 language papers, and we have the interview. So this is the overall pattern. So the strategy for preparing for these 3 levels of examination is totally different. So once your foundation is done, again for building your foundation, you will have to stick to a very restricted a list of resources, because market la vandittu you have a lot of free advice available, even though which advice to take in, which strategy would suit you better, and you will have to evolve your own strategy. That is what matters, and that is very, very important in this examination. And I had this in mind right from day one. I used to ask a lot of seniors, second attempt, third attempt, people who have cleared. I used to consult with an extensive set of people, but from day one I was very clear that whatsoever the advice they give me, I would filter it out and take whatever advice would suit me and would be helpful for my preparation. So I would suggest that you also follow such a strategy. You can go through the topper strategy of all the toppers. Already aspirants. It is good to talk to a lot of people, because when you talk to people who are giving third attempt, fourth attempt, they could tell you what works and what did not work for them. அதே மாதிரி 3-4 அட்டெம்ப்ட்ல கிளியர் பண்ணவங்க வந்து they could also help you by telling what all mistakes they made. அதே மாதிரி ஃபர்ஸ்ட் அட்டெம்ப்ட்ல கிளியர் பண்றவங்க they could tell you what worked. ஸோ இந்த மாதிரி ஒரு வெரைட்டி ஆஃப் ஒப்பீனியன் எடுத்துக்கிட்டு எது உங்களுக்கு கரெக்டா இருக்கும், which would suit you. ஸோ அந்த மாதிரி அதை ஃபில்டர் பண்ணி you should follow that. See, the UPSC testing process பார்த்தீங்கன்னா it is designed in such a way that the UPSC starts encouraging people who are good in decision making, because the entire civil service, the entire administrative service is all about decision making. So right from day one, நீங்க first day நீங்க preparation start பண்றதுல இருந்து you will have to take a lot of decisions. ஏன்னா நம்மளுக்கே தெரியாம we will be taking a lot of decisions. Let's say நீங்க ஆப்ஷனல் சூஸ் பண்றது is your own decision. நீங்க தான் டிசைட் பண்ணி ஆகணும் எந்த ஆப்ஷனல் நீங்க சூஸ் பண்ண போறீங்க அப்படின்ட்டு. அதே மாதிரி you will have to decide which coaching institute you are going to join. You will have to decide your timetable, எந்த மாதிரி டைம் டேபிள் ஃபாலோ பண்ணணும், அது மாதிரி எப்போ நான் பிரேக் எடுக்கணும், எப்போ நான் சாப்பிடணும், இந்த மாதிரி சின்ன சின்ன டிசிஷன்ஸ் தான் it will help you build your strategy in a strong way. So இந்த மாதிரி சின்ன decision making is what is going to help you. And உங்களுக்காக இந்த டெசிஷன்ஸ் எல்லாருமே எதுவுமே வேற யாராலையும் எடுக்க முடியாது. ஸோ நீங்க தான் உங்களோட ஸ்ட்ராட்டஜி என்னன்றதை நீங்க மட்டும் தான் முடிவு பண்ண முடியும். So you decide what is right and what is not right for you. And then once the strategy is set, you are all good to start preparing for the examination process. So in the foundation course, if you are preparing by yourself, generally the calendar is like this. The prelims happen somewhere in May or June, and the mains happen somewhere in October, November, and the interviews would start from February. So I started my preparation in June, and my prelims was in the next June. So I had a good 1 year time period to prepare for the prelims. So my strategy was I would complete all my foundation course material before December. So on the next 6-7 months kullara, you should complete all your basic material. Let's say history எடுத்துக்கிட்டீங்கன்னா NCERT Spectrum, geography எடுத்துக்கிட்டீங்கன்னா NCERT's GC Leon. So இந்த மாதிரி basic material, the foundation content கொடுக்குற material எல்லாத்தையுமே you should complete it at least once or twice before December. So டிசம்பருக்கு அப்புறம் உங்களுக்கு எதுவுமே புதுசா இருக்கக்கூடாது. அந்த 6 months குள்ளார you should try completing all this. அதுக்கப்புறம் உங்களுக்கு எதுவுமே புதுசா இருக்கக்கூடாது. ஸோ அதுக்கப்புறம் you can start your test series, mains test series, optional test series. ஸோ இந்த மாதிரி டெஸ்ட் எழுதுறதுக்கு you can start. ஸோ prelims பொறுத்த வரைக்கும் when it comes to prelims, the only success formula is to give tests every day. Prelims வந்து prelims minus T minus 100 daysல இருந்து you should start your exclusive prelims preparation. So exclusive prelims preparation அப்போ you should give at least 1 exam per day. So I recommend aspirants to take up at least 65 to 70 exam mock test, 65 to 70 mock test, so that they are able to evolve a strategy. ஏன்னா prelims பார்த்தீங்கன்னா it's a screening process. Prelimsல வந்துட்டு almost 5 to 6 lakh people they appear. So out of 5 to 6 lakh people, the objective of UPSC is to filter out only 15,000, 16,000 people for mains. So there is a huge there's a huge difference in these numbers, and very small proportion of people who who appear in the prelims, they get selected for the mains. So adanala it is a very competitive process. Prelims da irukale highly competitive stage. So prelims eppadi neenga clear pandradhukku you should have practiced with at least 60 to 70 tests. So what happens over the 60 to 70 tests is that you get to understand what your accuracy is. So என்னோட accuracy பாத்தீங்கன்னா out of 100 questions I would attempt around 85 to 90 questions. So my accuracy was around 70-20. So this accuracy evolved over a period of time. So initially I was attempting 80 questions. I used to get 50-30, then 60-20, and then I started increasing the number of questions that I attempted. So finally, when I gave prelims, I attempted around 90-91 questions, and I got 71 right and 20 wrong. So this is what my accuracy was. In the accuracy, உங்களுக்கு எப்போ தெரிய வரும் அப்படின்னா, நீங்க இந்த மாதிரி நிறைய மார்க் டெஸ்ட் கொடுக்க உங்களுக்கு அந்த accuracy எப்படி இருக்குன்றது தெரிய வரும். ஸோ அதே மாதிரி prelims இந்த மார்க் டெஸ்ட் கொடுக்கும்போது நீங்க வெறும் you should not restrict yourself with the test marks, or நீங்க ஒரு எக்ஸாம் கொடுத்துட்டு மார்க் மட்டும் பார்த்துட்டு you should not stop your preparation there. So every test is a learning process. ஒரு டெஸ்ட்லயுமே you get to know a lot of new things. இப்போ வந்து ஒரு கொஸ்டின் எடுக்கிறீங்க, அந்த கொஸ்டினுக்கு வந்து if the answer is B னா அந்த ACD ஆப்ஷன்ஸ் வந்து எந்த கொஸ்டினுக்கு சூட் ஆகுன்றதை யூ ஷுட் ட்ரை டு ஃபிகர் அவுட். ஸோ ஒரு கொஸ்டின் சால்வ் பண்ணும்போதும் யூ ஆர் ஆக்சுவலி ஆன்சரிங் 3 more questions. ஸோ இன் டோட்டல் யூ ஆர் ஆன்சரிங் 4 questions. ஸோ உங்களோட டெஸ்ட் அனாலிசிஸ் வந்து இந்த மாதிரி ஒரு அப்ரோச்ல இருக்கணும். whenever you are analyzing your test, ஒரு மார்க் டெஸ்ட் கொடுத்ததுக்கு அப்புறம் நீங்க அந்த டெஸ்ட் அனலைஸ் பண்ணும்போது நம்ம கொடுத்த ஆப்ஷன் கரெக்டா இருந்தா ஓகே, மீதி 3 ஆப்ஷன் வந்து எந்த கொஸ்டினுக்கு சூட் ஆகுன்றத பார்க்கணும். அதே மாதிரி நீங்க கொடுத்த ஆன்சர் தப்பா இருக்குன்ற பட்சத்துல எது கரெக்ட் ஆன்சர்ன்றத பார்க்கணும். அதே மாதிரி நீங்க கொடுத்த ஆன்சர் வந்து எந்த கொஸ்டின் சூட் ஆகணுன்றத பார்க்கணும். ஸோ வித் எவ்ரி மார்க் டெஸ்ட், இஃப் யூ ஆர் அட்டெம்ப்டிங் 100 question, you are effectively attempting 400 questions when you do a proper test analysis. So this approach is very, very essential when you give prelims mock test. So இந்த மாதிரி ஒரு approach follow பண்ணீங்க அப்படின்னா இந்த 70 test is more than sufficient for you to stay in the race, and உங்களோட கட் ஆஃப் வந்து கண்டிப்பா கம்ஃபர்டபுளா இருக்கும். கண்டிப்பா you'll be able to crack the prelims. So this was my approach for the prelims. So like கண்டிப்பா நீங்க ஃபர்ஸ்ட் மார்க் டெஸ்ட் கொடுக்கும்போது இல்ல ஃபர்ஸ்ட் 10 டெஸ்ட் கொடுக்கும்போது கண்டிப்பா it will not improve. நான் வந்து இனிஷியலா ஃபர்ஸ்ட் மார்க் டெஸ்ட் கொடுக்கும்போது my score was 60 out of 200. 60 is very less. It is too low, and if you are starting there, you need not worry at all. You have to ensure that over every successive mock test you are improving at least 1 mark, 2 mark, so that by the end of the mock test spree that you have you reach somewhere around 120, 130, so that you are in a comfortable spot. So mock test la vandu if you are getting 120, 130 or customana mock test la if you are getting 120 na, you will definitely score 125, 130 in the prelims, because prelims is not going to be totally difficult. ப்ரிலிம்ஸ்ல கண்டிப்பா 50 to 60 questions வெரி ஈஸி, எல்லாருமே அட்டெம்ப்ட் பண்ற மாதிரி கொஸ்டின்ஸ் தான் இருக்கும். அந்த ரிமைனிங் 40-50 questions தான் கேம் சேஞ்சர் கொஸ்டின்ஸ். ஸோ தோஸ் கொஸ்டின்ஸ் வில் டிட்டர்மைன் வெதர் யூ மேக் இட் டு த லிஸ்ட் ஆர் நாட். அதே மாதிரி ப்ரிலிம்ஸ் அட்டெம்ப்டிங் ஸ்ட்ராட்டஜி பார்த்தீங்கன்னா ஒன் ஸ்ட்ராட்டஜி இஸ் பை எலிமினேட்டிங் ஆன்சர்ஸ். ஸோ நான் வந்துட்டு என்னோட ஸ்ட்ராட்டஜி பார்த்தீங்கன்னா இனிஷியலா நான் வந்து எனக்கு கண்டிப்பா 100% எனக்கு ஷோரா தெரியுது. இஃப் ஐ எம் 100% ஷோர் about a question, I would immediately tick the question paper la tick mark pannita, I'll immediately share it in the answer sheet, OMR sheet also. So only if I'm 100% confident idukku idha answer appdin kandipa therinjaduna first round la I would do that. adhe mari first round la padikumbodhu if I am confused between two answers, I was able to eliminate 2 choices, but I am staying with 2 more choices. ஸோ இந்த மாதிரி இருக்கும்போது அதை வந்து நான் செகண்ட் ரவுண்ட்ல எடுத்துப்பேன். அதே மாதிரி இன்னொரு டைப் ஆஃப் கொஸ்டின் பார்த்தீங்கன்னா ஐ வுட் ஹவ் எலிமினேட்டட் 1 choice, ஐ வுட் பி ஹேவிங் 3 more choices out of which 1 is correct. ஸோ இந்த மாதிரி 2 choice எலிமினேட் பண்றீங்க அப்படின்னா if you have eliminated 2 choices, you should definitely attempt those questions. பிகாஸ் இந்த மாதிரி 2 choice எலிமினேட் பண்ணி நீங்க ஒரு 4 கொஸ்டின் அட்டெம்ப்ட் பண்ணி அதுல ஒரு கொஸ்டின் கரெக்டா வந்தா கூட it will get equalized. நம்ம ஒரு கொஸ்டின் தப்பு 3 கொஸ்டின் ஒரு கொஸ்டின் கரெக்ட் 3 கொஸ்டின் தப்பா இருந்தா கூட எஃபெக்டிவ் நெட் வந்து 0வா தான் இருக்கும். அட் த சேம் டைம் அதுல 4 கொஸ்டின் அட்டெம்ப்ட் பண்ணி 2 கொஸ்டின் கரெக்டா இருந்தா கூட உங்களுக்கு மார்க்ஸ் இன்க்ரீஸ் ஆகும். ஸோ இந்த மாதிரி ஒரு ஸ்ட்ராட்டஜி வச்சுக்கணும். if you are eliminating 2 choices, you should definitely attempt those questions. ஸோ அந்த மாதிரி இந்த ஒரு சாய்ஸ் தான் என்னால் எலிமினேட் பண்ண முடியுது, 3 சாய்ஸ் இருக்கு அப்படின்னா it is your call. You keep those questions to the end and you decide. நீங்க வந்து ஒரு 80 questions தான் அட்டெம்ப்ட் பண்ணிருக்கேன், நான் வந்து இன்னொரு 5 கொஸ்டின் அட்டெம்ப்ட் பண்ணணும்னு நினைக்கிறேன். if you feel like you want to attempt 5 more questions, in that case you can take a chance there. For questions for which you do not know any of the choice, if you're not able to eliminate even a single option, it is better to skip those questions. So அந்த மாதிரி questions வந்து there should be only 9 to 10 questions of that sort. So in the mari, like over a period of time, you will get to understand what strategy has to be followed. So prelims or overall strategy தான். So இப்போ வந்து I would like to share my timetable which I had followed during my prelims. Is it visible to everyone?
Yes sir.
Okay. So இங்க பாத்தீங்கன்னா இது வந்து prelims-ல இருந்து 77 days. இங்க இந்த கார்னர்ல இருக்கிறது வந்து that is the number of days to go for prelims. So prelims la 77 days munadi, that is like more than let's say 2 months. So on the 77th day I started with this timetable. So again, see this in the first line I will crack CSC and I will become like the self motivation is very very important during the entire process. So see, you could get motivation from two sources. One is you motivate yourself, and external motivation. External motivation you can't say that you will get it all the time. When you talk to your parents, when you talk to your friends, they will definitely motivate you. Apart from that, it is very very essential that you keep yourself self motivated. So in the self motivation ku indha mari chinna chinna விஷயங்கள்லாம் it makes a lot of sense. So புக்ஸ் என்னோட புக்லாம் பாத்தீங்கன்னா லைக் அந்த மாதிரி எல்லா புக்லயும் எழுதியிருப்பேன், லைக் IAS 2017, IAS 2018 அந்த மாதிரி. ஸோ இந்த மாதிரி லைக் இது சின்ன சின்ன விஷயம் நம்ம சின்ன வயசுல இருந்தே இதெல்லாம் பண்ணியிருப்போம். IITJ ப்ரிப்பேர் பண்ணும்போது I will crack IITJ அந்த மாதிரி. So these things will help you keep yourself motivated. So I started my preparation on March 16. So in the மாதிரி like you can have your own timetable. So this was my timetable. So இதுல இங்க இருக்கு பாருங்க, லைக் இன்னைக்கு நான் டெஸ்ட் எடுக்கணும்ன்றத முன்னாடியே டிசைட் பண்ணிருப்பேன். இந்த மாதிரி வாஜிராம் டெஸ்ட் ஃபார் விஷன் டெஸ்ட், ஸோ அந்த டெஸ்டோட அனாலிசிஸ். ஸோ இந்த மாதிரி பார்த்தீங்கன்னா லைக் ஃபார் த நெக்ஸ்ட் 77 days மை டைம் டேபிள் வாஸ் ரெடி. ஸோ இந்த அளவுக்கு ஒரு டீடைல்ட் எக்ஸசைஸ் would be required because at least for the next 30 days you should have what kind of strategy you are going to follow. So June 18th was my prelims. So on the prelims எழுதிட்டு வந்ததுக்கு அப்புறம் இது எழுதினேன் நான். So prelims is done now அப்படின்ட்டு. So this was my overall timetable during my prelims. So my plan, like on the 77 days I did not have any classes, so I had all the time for my self preparation. So 7 o'clock getting ready for 15 minutes breakfast. So even during prelims it is very essential that you keep reading the newspaper. So this newspaper reading is one of the most crucial aspect during the entire preparation. And there are many aspirants who ask me whether it is sufficient if I stick to the monthly magazines alone. See, newspaper is like your basic diet, and those magazines are a supplement. You can't survive with supplements alone. You will have to have your basic diet, and the newspaper is a basic diet which is very very essential during the entire preparation process. I think someone is scribbling. You can avoid that. So newspaper adukaprom, like even during my prelims preparation I was spending some time for political science also. Then a lunch, half an hour break in between, then revision, gym, general studies, again answer writing practice. So this was like a rough timetable that I was following. And again for the prelims you'll also have to have decent knowledge about the maps. So these were the maps that I wanted to cover. So all these items I will share with you. So it's not an issue. So I can go through that later also. So again, books I restricted myself. So these are the prelims topics. So I decided for each topic which all books I wanted to cover. So this was my book list. Again, I'll share this with you. So அந்த மாதிரி பார்த்தீங்கன்னா like for prelims I had a detailed timetable, or strategy was fixed, and I was see, it is very difficult for you to plan and stick to the plan, but your planning should be practical, and it has to be in such a way that you give sufficient buffer time in between, so that even if you do not stick to the plan, you are able to make up in the buffer time. So my planning was in such a way that I would plan every week from Monday to Saturday only. Sunday was my buffer day for every week. So in the Monday to Saturday என்னால cover பண்ண முடியாத topics ஏதாவது இருந்ததுன்னா I would cover that during that Sunday, and Sunday was also like a revision day. அதே மாதிரி Sundayல I used to take short breaks also. Like being in Delhi, I had a decent friend circle there, and like monthly once we used to go out for a movie, or 2 weeks once we used to go out for a movie. So all these things are also it is a part of your preparation, because romba stress எடுத்துட்டாலுமே it is very difficult. So அப்பப்போ you should have such stress busting activities, and it has to be restricted to the minimum. அதே மாதிரி like once I started my preparation, I made it a point to quit all my social media accounts. So I had only WhatsApp active, WhatsApp and Telegram for education purpose. And I logged out of Facebook. I logged out of I was not using Instagram by then. So like I was keeping myself away from all such distractions, and my entire focus was towards the preparation only. See, you could take it as a challenge also. நான் வந்து கண்டிப்பா நான் கிளியர் பண்ணாதான் நான் இது யூஸ் பண்ணுவேன், கிளியர் பண்ணாதான் நான் சோஷியல் மீடியால ஐ வில் லாக் இன் அகைன். இந்த மாதிரி ஒரு சின்ன சின்ன சேலஞ்ச் எடுத்துக்கிட்டு யூ கேன் கீப் யுவர் செல்ஃப் மோட்டிவேட்டட் as well. So next I would briefly talk about mains preparation. So mainsல பாத்தீங்கன்னா the first thing that is very crucial is the choice of your optional subject. So your optional subject decides whether you make it to the final list or not. Because these days in an optional subject there will be a huge variation in your score. Let's say some people they get only 250 marks, some people they get 300 marks. Some optionals like Tamil literature or mathematics, civil engineering, such optionals are giving even 350 360 marks, which is so high out of 500. So the general norm is that if you are getting 50%, it is a good score. If you're getting 50% of the total mark, it is a good score. And this would vary every year. Ella varshamo and the evaluation pattern would vary. So, but in your GS paper, more or less, all the toppers, if you compare the topper score of GS 1, 2, 3, 4, it will more or less vary in the marks put together would more or less vary in the same range. There will be maximum difference of 20, 30 marks. But a huge difference you can observe in your essay paper and your optional papers 1 and 2. So your choice of optional is very, very crucial. And if for people who have not chosen optionals already, I would I would recommend you to keep these 4 points in mind before you choose the optional. One thing, the first and foremost, your interest towards the topic, your interest towards the subject. நீங்க வந்து லைக் மற்றவங்க சொன்னாங்க இந்த பேப்பர் வந்து ஸ்கோரிங்கா இருக்கு, திஸ் பேப்பர் இஸ் ஸ்கோரிங், திஸ் பேப்பர் இஸ் நாட் கிவிங் குட் மார்க்ஸ், இந்த மாதிரி you don't give any excuse for the political, I mean for the optional paper. My optional was political science, so don't give any excuse for the optional paper. The first and foremost thing is your interest towards it, because you are going to spend significant time with that subject, and your clarity of understanding of the subject plays a huge role in securing good marks. Second thing would be availability of resources. So check whether sufficient resources are available for the optional, because for a few optional there might not be sufficient resources and coaching available in the market. So it is better that you do some basic research and try to find out if there is sufficient resource available in the market. Third thing would be previous year question papers. So if you have shortlisted some 3-4 optional after considering the first 2 factors, go through the previous year question papers and try to see whether you're comfortable with a particular subject or not. So after these 3 things, fourth and the least importance to be given to the scoring pattern, the recent year scores. Let's say recent times political science has performed very well, sociology has been giving decent scores, even public administration has been giving decent, anthropology is a very good optional. So in recent years, like 4-5 options have been performing relatively well compared to the other optional subjects, but it will vary any day. Like last 3-4 years people with geography optional, they have been complaining they're not getting good score, but before that geography optional was scoring very well. So that is why many people started joining geography, and UPSC decided to discourage geography optional, and they've started giving less marks. So this would happen to any optional any day. So that you should give the least importance. But in every optional, remember, there are toppers who score 320, 330. Every optional toppers would score 300 plus. So like if you have prepared very well, you, irrespective of the optional, you would definitely score above 300, which is a very, very good score. So once your optional subject is decided, your mains, when you while coming to the general studies part, general studies answer writing is an art that you'll have to develop over a period of time. It is definitely an art, and it will come only with practice. So you'll have to practice extensively in order to write a good answer. Because what happens is, if you look at the answer scripts of people who have cleared, it is available on websites like Vision IAS. Even my answer scripts are also available there. So if you look at the answer scripts, more or less all the points written by the topper would be known to you. உங்களுக்கு கண்டிப்பா எல்லா பாயிண்ட்டுமே உங்களுக்கு தெரிஞ்சிருக்கும். You would have studied those points. What matters is the presentation and the flow in which the answer is presented. So that flow decides whether you're going to get a good mark or not. And let's say for a question there 10 points, but the word limit restricts you to write only 4 to 5 points. So out of those 10, அந்த 10 பாயிண்ட்ல எந்த 5-6 பாயிண்ட் எழுத போறேன், out of those 10, which 5 to 6 points you're going to write is again very crucial in your mains answer writing. See, after a point you should start seeing yourself from the point of view of the examiner who is going to correct. See, for the examiner it is again a day's duty. He is not going to think a lot saying, okay, நான் இந்த பையனுக்கு அதிகமான மார்க் போட்டேன் IAS ஆயிடுவான், இவனுக்கு அதிகமான மார்க் போட்டேன் IPS ஆயிடுவான். They are not going to put all this thought process into the paper while creating. They are going to get some 250-300 rupees for the paper if they correct it, and they'll just correct it based on whatever key was given to them. So they are doing their job. They are not going to evaluate it in much detail, thinking that this person has written a good answer, this person has written a bad answer. They're just doing their monotonous routine. So you will have to ensure that you leave a very good first impression while your paper reaches the examiner's hand. So how do you do that? You do that with your presentation. You do that by presenting your answers in a neat manner. You do that by making your answers very interesting, by drawing some flow charts, drawing some diagrams, drawing maps, drawing figures while answering questions in geography. So these are a few important aspects that you need to keep in mind while writing your mains answer. So mains answer writing. So what I did was, I did not take up any mains test series before prelims. I wrote a mains test series after prelims only. But before prelims, I made sure that I started writing answers. So every weekend, I would recommend every weekend you take up 2 to 3 questions. You write some answers for it. You do it like an assignment also. During the initial days, you do it like an assignment. Look at the question, gather points, look at the answers given by toppers or other aspirants. So you do it like an assignment. You sit and work for 1 hour. So ideally, the time that you get while writing a mains answer in the examination would be 6 to 7 minutes. But while you are preparing, you can take up to 20-25 minutes to see how you are able to write. And again, it is very important that you stick to the time limit. In the actual mains, they would give you a designated space in which you will have to write the answer. So let's say if the question is for 12.5 marks, they'll give you 1.5 pages. So make it a point that you cover the entire space. Your paper should at least look content heavy, that you should at least cover all the pages that they've given you, so that it gives the impression that you have not skipped or you have written a small answer. See, again, the word limit is only indicatory in nature. They're not going to sit and count whether you have written 100 words or 200 words. You should just ensure that you're able to write your answer within the space provided for every answer. So this comes over a period of time, and initially you do it like an assignment, and then before prelims, if you are able to manage, it is better you take up a test series before prelims also, but not within those 100 days to prelims. Even before that, let's say this year's prelims is in October, but with the conventional chart, when prelims is in June, by December, January, you can take up a test series for mains as well as your optional also. Then later on, you can take up prelims test series 100 days before your prelims. So mains test series, again, your answers would improve over a period of time. And whenever you take up a test series, they would give you a model answer. Go through the model answer in detail. Model answers will always exceed the word limit, because they want to give you all the content that is available for the answer. That model answer is just for learning, and a few important points you might have missed in your answer, which you can include while writing answers the next time. And also, one more important thing for mains is it is impossible for anyone to take up 2 or 3 test series for mains, because you won't have sufficient time, and you'll have to write continuously for 3 hours, and sticking to the time limit is very, very important. So what I did was, I enrolled in 1 test series, and I used to take the model answers of the other test series that were available in the market. Everything is available online. You have a number of Telegram groups where they post model test answers. If you are placed in Delhi, the entire ORN market is flooded with the material. So you can source material through these avenues. So you take the model answers of the other test series also and go through that, so that your content is built. So this is another strategy. And very, very important thing about mains is you attempt all the answers. And even for answers that you do not know even a single point, try to write something relevant, but don't write some random stuff. Try to write something relevant to it, so that the paper looks full. And always stick to the time limit. And this time discipline comes over a period of time as you take a lot of mock tests. So now I'll share one of my GS papers with you. Now first I'll share my mains timetable. All right. So if you see, this was the timetable that I followed for mains. So here DTG means days to go. So 90 days to go, I started. So the date, this test was kind of fixed. So I joined Vision test series. So I was following their timetable, and this is current affairs to be covered. This is general studies to be covered, PSIR to be covered. So this is how my mains planning went. And see, while preparing for mains, it is very important for you to memorize a lot of factual information. Let's say for economics, you should know what is our GDP, and you'll have to compare it with the GDP of other countries. And again, for other concepts in geography, you'll have to know a lot of factual content. So for that, I used to compile it all together, and I kept on revisiting the compiled content, so that it got memorized. I would share that as well for your reference. So I used to take up A4 sheets and keep compiling content. So these such content, you will be able to use it somewhere or the other. So let's say this is the factual information about irrigation. So I had prepared a pie chart well in advance. So if there is any question on irrigation, I would definitely draw this pie chart. And again, maps also are a very crucial part. So you start practicing, at least a rough sketch of the India map. So such factual information you can compile: healthcare, literacy, sex ratio. So this is like NPA to total loans ratio. It is like China, Russia, India. So you'll have to keep compiling, and you prepare all these diagrams well in advance, so that when a topic is asked in that regard, you straight away go ahead and draw the diagram in your answer. So your presentation and the content that you give, all these matters when it comes to mains. And in all the answer, try to understand the demand of the question. In the question, there are like keywords like critically analyze, enumerate, elaborate, analyze. So these keywords are very, very important. So there is one document available online which tries to explain, what these keywords mean. I think there is a document by Vision or Insights. I'm not sure. I'll try to find out and share it with you. So that document was helpful in helping me understand. If they ask you to enumerate the reasons for corruption, then you'll have to enumerate. You'll have to put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you'll have to write the answers. If there is a question asking you to critically analyze, then you'll have to write the positives, you'll have to write the negatives, and the way forward. So these type of approaches would help you get good marks during the mains. And again, in mains, every single mark matters. Every half a mark matters. So see, it is all very subjective, and the paper that you get in your the marks that you get in your paper depends on how the previous paper which was corrected, how that person has performed. So if that paper is average and yours is better than that, definitely you're going to get at least half a mark or 1 mark higher than the previous person. So this is how it is going to work, and half a mark across all 20 questions, you are already 10 marks higher than the previous person. So it is all relative, and you always have to give a good first impression over the paper. And if the first question, if you do not know anything, you cannot skip the first question, because that is the once the examiner is opening the paper, the first page should not be blank. It is not a hard and fast rule, but I made it a point not to leave the first page blank. In my GS1, the very first question, I do not know the answer to it. There was a question in which they asked us to explain about the numismatics during the Gupta period or something. The only thing that I knew was the gold content or something. It started declining after that period. So this was the only point that I knew. But I filled up 2 pages by drawing coins, and I remembered some concepts from my history class. So I started drawing coins with a queen standing behind the king and all that. I started making some presentation and I filled up the page. So irrespective of whether you know a lot of content or not, you try to make up something and you present it in such a way that at least the first question is not blank. And for the rest of the questions also, you try to answer. Only if you do not have even a single point, you do not have any scope, you can skip those questions. So again, I will share my one of my essay papers with you. So for essay, essay is also a very essay also plays a very crucial role in your overall score. So this is one of my essay answers. The topic was effective foreign diplomacy. Is India successful in delivery? So my optional was political science. So I had some decent knowledge and I was able to quote some scholars also. Here I have quoted Morgenthau. And there are some phrases like no permanent friends or no permanent enemies. So all these you'll have to start working on such phrases also. And again, even in essay papers, I drew some diagrams. At least some simple diagrams will also do, so that it is just your paper looks a little different. And again, your presentation is very, very important. See, from this, overall பார்க்கும்போது பாத்தீங்கன்னா like அங்கங்க I would have underlined very black color. So it is not like sometimes I do not get the time to underline also, but at the end of the examination I would just take out a black pen and I'll randomly underline points. It's not like I underline only the important points, but it'll at least look that I've taken some effort in highlighting important points. So again, important neighbors of India. So some figure, whatever you find relevant to the question, you can take it up and write. So your overall presentation should also be satisfactory. And see, when you start writing, your presentation would be good, and towards the end of your paper, you would have been exhausted already, and 3 hours of continuous writing would give some strain for your hands also. So it is very important that at least the initial pages you have a good presentation, and over time you tend to scribble a little, which is fine as well. So that was my essay paper, and I'll share my political science paper also. Not the paper per se, how I prepared for political science. So for every issue in political science, for every bilateral concept, I had a A4 sheet, and I had the opinion of scholars. For political science, like people who have political science as their optional, this is very, very important, because like most of us are from engineering background, and it is highly important for us to write scholarly answers. It is very important to write academic answers. So how do you make your answers academic? By quoting scholars. So you select the list of scholars whom you are comfortable with, and you take out their opinion, and you note it down in a piece of paper, so that you keep preparing over that only. So these are all Kanwal, Meena Singh Rai. They're all, I think foreign diplomats, IFS officers, and they have given their opinion regarding the issue, and I've noted it down. For every bilateral concept, only one paper. India, Bangladesh, one sheet. So like this, you can, take up important points and you can keep revising. And when there is a question asked in that regard, you can quote these scholars, and that would help you write an academic answer. Because, political science, you will have competition from people who have graduated in political science with MA political science from Delhi University, from JNU, with whom you'll have to compete. So that is the case for all other optionals also, be it sociology, be it anthropology. You'll have to compete with people who are experts in that. I would not call them experts, who have graduated from that particular subject. But it actually turns out that people who have not graduated, they tend to get better marks, because our knowledge on that subject is limited, and we tend to stick to the core of the answer, and we give the answer in a very simplified manner for the examiner to understand easily. So this is what happens. People with political science background, they kind of, there are toppers from that background also, but I've seen many people from the other background performing better in the optional subject. So this was my strategy for preparing for the optional. So next, I would like to talk about my interview preparation. So it was a very interesting experience, because there is a lot of self understanding. There is a lot of you start to analyze your personality, because it is a personality test. They do not test your knowledge. They do not ask you factual questions there. It is a test of personality, but knowledge is also very important, because that also portrays what kind of personality you are. So it is not like knowledge is not important. Your knowledge, your basic factual content is built over the entire process. Over prelims, over mains, your basics are done. But in interview, what kind of personality you are is getting portrayed. And the interview panel has generally has a team of 5 people. There is one chairperson for every panel, and there are 4 other members. There is one psychologist, one subject expert, and 2 other people from other services also. So they generally try to make you very comfortable. They're very warm. See, they've seen thousands of people over their entire career. There are IAS officers sitting there, there are IPS officers, there are people from the military sitting there. So they've been through a lot during their entire tenure. Definitely their experience would be more than our age. Whoever is sitting there, their experience is more than our age, and they will be able to judge our personality within the first 2 minutes after we enter. So the remaining 20 minutes would be more of a formality. So, but you do have a lot of scope to portray your personality over the next 20-25 minutes. So my interview was also very smooth. It was a very open discussion. I don't know. I had a very mixed feeling after coming outside. I was a little comfortable. I was confident that I would make it to the list, but I never imagined that I would get such a rank. But we even had discussion on Game of Thrones, because my hobbies, I had written watching English web series and all. So we even had a discussion on Game of Thrones. There was one psychiatrist, I believe she was the psychiatrist. There was one female member sitting towards the right of the table. So she was asking me, whom do you like to see on the Iron Throne? Because one more season was pending by that time. So whom do you think would make it to the Iron Throne? Because they were also following Game of Thrones. So like the discussion was very open. It was a very frank discussion, and the overall experience was very good. So most of you, when you face the interview board, would also go through such a wonderful experience only. So during the preparation, I took up some 4 to 5 mock interviews, so which helped me get comfortable with my approach towards the interview board, because there are very small things which we are not aware of ourselves. See, I during the initial stages, I was thinking that I am having a smile on my face. but it so happened that I was thinking that I'm smiling, but it was not portrayed outside. So while most of the mock interviews, they record and they give you the video feedback also. So from that video, I was able to find out, okay, I'm not smiling. But actually, I was not smiling. So I was showing a little nervous face. So such mock interviews, they help you, tweak these small, behavioral patterns, and that would, definitely go a long way in helping you face the board as such. So that is a long way to go, and I sincerely wish all of you make it to the interview, as early as possible. So the entire process was very interesting, and one important strategical change that you have to make in your preparation process is that now you'll have to start analyzing from both the point of view, pro government, anti government. So you'll have to start analyzing from both the sides of the coin, because till mains, we kind of write answers in a very pro government manner. So in the interview, you'll have to understand both the sides of the picture. So you'll have to start reading a couple of newspapers. You'll have to read 2 to 3 newspapers to understand the various aspects regarding an issue, and you'll have to list down the important issues which have happened over the last 1 year. So there are the institutes will help you with the list of issues for which you can note down 3 pros, 3 cons, and you can take up your own stand. So this for every issue, it is important that you have a stand of your own and you stand by that stand. And when they ask you for your stand, you can't take up a stand, and if counter question, you can't change your stand. So that will give a very wrong. That will send a wrong message. So whatever stand you take, you will have to justify that stand with respect to that issue. For example, let's say in this year interview, I'm sure they would have asked whether this Citizenship Amendment Act is justified. What is your take on it? Whether this NRC is fine. Definitely, they would have asked the candidates who have appeared in the interview this year. So whatever your stand may be, you should justify the stand, and that is how your personality is portrayed to the interview board. So this was my overall journey, and so over the entire process, even if any aspirant would overcome ups and downs through the entire process. So it is very important that whenever we fall, we ensure that we are back on our feet as early as possible. And see, mock tests are not going to work very well at the beginning itself. It is very important that you keep ourselves motivated, and we look at the bigger picture as a whole. We just keep looking at the bigger picture, and the bigger picture for me was this was the bigger picture for me. So I was able to achieve it someday. So you should also have such a focus in your mind, and always keep working towards that. And that will with the right focus, with the right determination, you would definitely succeed. But there is no shortcut for the success, and there is no substitute for hard work. So these 2 things are very important. You keep this in mind, and stay focused, and keep preparing. Now I will take up questions from the chat box.
Sir, we have also made some questions for you, sir. Can we ask, sir?
Okay, please. Yes, please do.
Anand, kindly unmute yourself and ask the questions.
Yes, sir. Fine, sir. First of all, thank you, sir. So actually, chat box la nariya question vandirukku. So maybe ungala review pandra konjam kashama irukum. Naanga already consultate பண்ணிட்டோம் sir questions, sir.
Okay. Please.
So first question, how to use the facts and statistics in mains answer writing?
Okay, see, facts and statistics, you use it only if you're 100% sure if that fact or statistic is true, and you present it in the first page of your answer itself. Say Okay, let me. I think it would be better if I share one of my main answer sheet. So this is a question on cyber terrorism, and I have used facts from the current affairs that was available then. So cyber terrorism holds serious potential to paralyze economic and financial institutions. What are the issues and challenges? So first line was a statement. The actual question is, what are the issues and challenges with respect to India's cybersecurity? What initiative has the government of India taken to address the same? So first, I'm trying to set up a background here. So I've quoted facts from the recent current affairs, and here I've written the reasons. The financial. The question was paralyze economic and financial institutions. So I have touched upon how it could paralyze the financial institutions. Next, I have touched upon issues and challenges asked. It was asked, and I've written initiatives taken by government. So while approaching a question, so try to understand what are the components of the question. Here, the first line you'll have to touch upon it and establish a background. Then you'll have to explain about what are the issues and challenges and what are the initiatives the government of India has taken. So it is a clearly mentioned question with 3 parts, and likewise I have given the answer also. And see, like your answer only up to 150 to 200 words, so your answer is going to be very short. So in that case here, since there are 3 portions to the question, I decided I'll do it in a point wise fashion. And again here, see, usage of facts and figures that you will have to use to supplement your answers. And your with the here I had known a fact that free movement regime allowed people to travel up to 16 kilometers. So here it became relevant to present that fact. So over a period of time, you'll get to know which is the relevant place where you can use that fact. So this was one question. Again, see, I also had the practice of in all the GS question, if there was a scope to present any current affairs related issue, I would present it in the introduction itself. Here the question is about what do you understand by lone wolf attack? In the wake of increasing lone wolf attack across the globe, assess India's vulnerability. So here the question was asked because the lone wolf attack concept was in the news recently. So I am showing to the examiner that I am aware why this question was asked. So here I am presenting that there were 3 attacks in recent times, and India's vulnerability to attacks. Why is India vulnerable to attacks? So again, measures taken to prevent such attacks in the way forward. So except for GS1 where there is very limited scope to present your way forward, in all the other 3 papers you have sufficient scope to present the way forward. And again, during the mock test, see here, what are the factors that led to generation of black money in India? For this question, while writing the question, I did not know the scale of black money that was present. So that I understood while writing the question. So here, after going back, I would check what was the scale of black money. And if the question was asked later in the future, I would have quoted that fact. So while writing answers also, you'll get to have an understanding of what all facts we are missing, what all points we are trying to miss. And such points you'll have to keep in mind while doing your test analysis. You you ensure that you go back and you refer to the internet or to your resources, and you collect all those points and you keep revising while you do test analysis. Okay, we can take up the next question. Anand.
Yes, sir. How to prepare the effective notes from the bulky standard books? Likewise, Spectrum book have 806 pages. Lakshmigan book also have 900 pages. So how to segregate the notes from that book, sir?
Okay. So see, this is a very relevant question, and my strategy was to revise from the book itself, because see, you will have to see, this strategy might work or might not work for many people, but it did work for me. I over successive revision cycles, I used to note down or mark content that is very volatile and I'm not able to remember. So first time na padikumbodhu I just gave a rough glance of the entire book. So first reading was a rough reading, and just to establish which content comes where, which chapter comes after which chapter. So in order to establish this, I did a very rough reading of the entire book. So second time when I read, I used to underline with a pencil, and the next time when I read, I would read only the points that I have underlined with pencil. So it would so happen that the first reading you end up underlining the entire book, because you feel that everything is important. So first reading apart that is very natural, because you're reading, you're going through new content. You feel that I do not know this content. So the first reading, even now, if you take a look at my book, the entire book, almost the entire book is underlined in pencil. So the second time I read only the content that I have underlined in pencil, and I used to underline with a pen. So over the next reading, I used to put a single star mark. The next reading, double star mark. So in the mari adutha reading la, you try to compress the content that you are going to revise over the next reading. So this is one of the strategies. There are a few people who make notes out of the book, and they revise that. So adula enna பண்ணுவாங்க அப்படின்னா, the first time notes எடுக்கும்போது இந்த mistake தான் ஆகும். The first time notes எடுக்கும்போது நீங்க திரும்ப மொத்த புக்கையும் நீங்க நோட்ஸ் எடுத்த மாதிரி ஆயிடும். You'll be feeling that everything is important, and you would be making notes of the entire book. So I would recommend you make notes after 5 to 6 revisions. So 5 revision ku appuram you would know which points are important, and you would have started giving mock test also. So only those important points which is factual, which you feel is exam worthy, so such points you note it down. You maintain a separate notebook for each subject, and you keep revising those topics. And again, I would recommend notes making if you are referring from multiple sources for a particular subject. So for arts and culture, I was referring from NCERTs, from I think Nitin Singhani or something. So I was referring from 2 to 3 sources. So in such a case, for a topic, I used to compile it in a notebook, and I was revising from there. And even in that notebook, I was doing the same marking scheme: pencil, pen, star mark, double star mark. So at the end, before giving the prelims or the mains, I used to revise only the 3-star or 4-star marks, 4-star points, so that I was able to complete the entire book on time. So before prelims, I was able to complete entire spectrum in 1.5 2 hours, entire Lakshmikant in 2 hours, because I have narrowed down the content that I wanted to revise. Only the volatile content, only in the content நம்மளுக்கு எவ்வளவு டைம் ரிவைஸ் பண்ணாலும் நம்மளுக்கு மெமரைஸ் ஆகலையோ அந்த கண்டென்ட் மட்டும் தான் I was revising again and again. Rest of it, over a period of time, over successive revisions, you would feel comfortable, and you would have imbibed that content automatically. So revision is very, very important, and at least before prelims, there is no fixed number. Keep revising. A minimum of 7 to 8 revisions is necessary. So prelims mudikumbodhu your foundation is strong. So using that foundational knowledge, you go for your mains preparation. So mains preparation is all about presentation, as I told you earlier. See, mains is more like a large scale board examination. So where presentation matters, the word limit matters. So இந்த மாதிரி ஒரு board examination நினைச்சு you start giving the mains. So next question, Anand.
How to prepare notes for miscellaneous topics like social empowerment, PDS, food security, like that, sir?
All right. So again, for such topics, you go through online resources, and go through the website of schemes like PDS, NREGA. They have their dedicated websites. You could take content from those websites, and there is a lot of resource available online. You try to get important factual information of the previous or the current running year, 2020, 21 or 1920, so that you are able to compare and present the content. So these sociology based topics, you prepare a single sheet content, take an A4 sheet. Let's say for PDS, you prepare a sheet full of factual information. For NREGA, you understand the entire process flow. What are the drawbacks in NREGA, and what is the average wage rate that people get in recent times. That wage rate also varies from state to state. What is the highest national average, and how states, you at least compare some 3-4 states, the lower performing 2 states, higher performing 2 states. You try to give a bar diagram for that. So such content you can collect during your free time and spend some half an hour over this. You take up a topic, spend half an hour to 1 hour to collect content, and you try to utilize that content only while writing answers on such topics.
Sir.
Next question.
So though you are a civil engineering student, you took the PSIR optional. So what about your view about the engineering optional, sir?
See, engineering optionals are very good. They do give very good score. But keep in mind that just because we are engineers, taking up engineering optional, it is not going to be advantageous for us, because people the toughness of the optional level would be somewhat close to gate level, and aspirants from IITs, NITs, they are also going to take up engineering optional. But if you feel you are so strong, if you are very much interested towards it, these days there are sufficient resources available. During I had a decent CGPA. I was having a 9-point CGPA during my college days, so even I had the inclination to take up civil engineering optional. But I chose political science because of two reasons. Even I analyzed the optional based on the 4 points that I told you. First thing was I was interested towards international relations, so there's one entire paper on IR, and I had an inclination towards IFS also. So I was inclined towards political science for that matter. And second thing is, during my preparation days, there was no resource available for civil engineering. So the next year, institute started coming up for civil engineering. So that is the reason why I did not choose engineering optional. But otherwise, if you are very much inclined towards it, if you have a good foundational background for your engineering option, you can very well go ahead with it. Again, one more reason I took up political science was it had a huge overlap with general studies portions. So once I covered political science and IR, I did not prepare for paper 2. My ethics was done because I was using political science scholars concepts while writing ethics answers. So my ethics was done, my paper 2 was done, and my world history was done. So political science had a very huge overlap with the GS portions. So that again played a huge role in me selecting political science. So you can judge using all these factors, and it is up to you to decide on the option.
Yes, sir. Sir, approach about current affairs preparation, sir.
Yes, current affairs, newspaper reading is very much essential, as I had discussed earlier. So during the initial days, it is very natural for you to take up to 3 to 4 hours to read a newspaper. So if you are taking less time than that, you are on the right track. So because in the initial stages we might not know whether an article that we are reading is important or not. So what I did was I took a printout of the entire syllabus, which is available in the UPSC notification. You print it out, you stick it in front of your study table, and whatever article that you read, you try to relate it with the syllabus. So once you start doing this, the syllabus also gets imbibed in your mind, and you'll be able to eliminate the articles that are not relevant for your newspaper while reading the newspaper. Let's say there is some local political issue, it is definitely not relevant. But if there is an issue which is recurring, which is appearing over a successive 3 to 4 days, and it is in the national media, that is a important issue. So such issues. So in the initial days, I used to make notes out of the newspaper, but I ended up relying on the monthly magazines. So I thought, the monthly magazines were actually doing a good job. Vision magazines or Insights, you can stick to any of the monthly magazines. But newspaper reading is a must, and instead of notes making, you can follow any of the monthly magazine. But if you feel there is an article, let's say in the editorial, which you feel is good with respect in the mains point of view or your optional point of view, such articles you can pick and make notes. I used to take a photo and save it in my mobile in a separate folder, and I used to mark in that paper itself. I used to take a photo and save it so that I revised it later on. So try to minimize your effort as much as possible, because it is a prolonged process. You have to work for 2 years. You have to prepare for a year, appear in the exam for one more year. You try to, work smartly. You try to minimize the extensive effort that you're putting. Rather, you can spend more time on revising, developing clarity over the content. So in order to do that, I did not, after a period of 2 to 3 months, I stopped making notes. Only the, mains oriented articles I took notes. Otherwise, I did not take notes. I was relying on the monthly magazines. So monthly magazines also, you mark it and read, and you keep revising the monthly magazines during your mock test, and that should do. This will be your overall strategy for current affairs.
Yes, sir. So which area should be covered at the very beginning of our preparation?
All right. Again, this is again a confusion. We tend to have an inertia while we start our preparation. There is nothing like one particular topic is important, one subject has more weightage, because all the subjects are equally important, all the papers are equally important, and but you can have your own favorites. I never had any interest towards medieval and ancient history, and I paid very less attention towards those topics, but the rest of it were fine with me. So you can start with whatever topic is convenient, and most of us would feel, the subjects which we have learned during our school days, history or geography, to be more convenient. So you can start off with history or geography. You start off with basic NCERTs. See, now class 9 to 12 NCERTs are essential, and if you are not from a CBSE background, if you are finding it difficult to comprehend 9th class NCERT, you can start from 6th class, because again 6, 7, 8 is going to be very elementary for our age, and it is going to be very basic. You will be able to complete a single book in a day or so. So if you are feeling 9th class to be difficult to comprehend, you can definitely start with 6, 7, 8. Otherwise, 9th to 12th books proper படிச்சிட்டு 9th 10th to build the basics, 11th 12th books மட்டும் நீங்க கண்டினியூஸா ரிவைஸ் பண்ணணும். 9th 10th ஒரு ரீடிங்ல you can complete it. If there are some important points, you can note it down. Otherwise, 11th and 12th NCERT books are very much sufficient. The basic formula is one NCERT plus one standard material. Let's say for history, one old NCERT for modern history, and Spectrum as your standard material. Again, for geography, similarly, NCERTs and GC Leong. So that is how you will be able to restrict your materials. So this will be so you start off with, எங்கேயாச்சும் ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணுங்க. லைக் நீங்க ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ற வரைக்கும் யூ வில் ஹேவ் தட் ஹெசிடேஷன், எங்க ஆரம்பிக்கிறது, எந்த சப்ஜெக்ட்ல ஆரம்பிக்கிறது. யூ ஸ்டார்ட் ஆஃப் சம்வேர். இஃப் யூ டு நாட் ஹேவ் இன்ட்ரெஸ்ட் டுவர்ட்ஸ் எனி சப்ஜெக்ட், யூ பிக் அ ரேண்டம் புக், யூ ஸ்டார்ட் ஆஃப் வித் தட் சப்ஜெக்ட். ஏன்னா நம்ம ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ற வரைக்கும் அந்த இனர்ஷியா நம்மளுக்குள்ள இருந்துகிட்டே இருக்கும். நம்ம ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணல, எங்க ஸ்டார்ட் பண்றதுன்னு தெரியல அப்படின்னு. யுவர் ஸ்டார்டிங் இஸ் வெரி இம்பார்ட்டன்ட். ஸ்டார்ட் ஆஃப் சம்வேர் அண்ட் யூ டேக் இட் ஸ்லோலி. யூ ஹேவ் சஃபிஷியன்ட் டைம். ஃப்ராங்கா சொல்லணும்னா, என்னோட ஆக்சுவல் ப்ரிப்பரேஷன் ஸ்டார்டட் இன் March 2017 only. My prelims was in June 2017. My actual preparation started in March 2017 only. You would have seen my timetable. That is when my actual preparation started. Till then, I did not have any direction. கொஞ்சம் ரேண்டமாக தான் படிச்சுட்டு இருந்தேன், கண்டென்ட் கவர் பண்ணிட்டு இந்த மாதிரி தான் படிச்சுட்டு இருந்தேன். So those were the mistakes that I had made. So, but I was, fortunate or lucky to have cleared it. But if you are focused right from the beginning, you will clear it off very comfortably. Now Marchல இருந்து I had to double up my efforts. நான் வந்து கம்ஃபர்டபுளா ஐ குட் ஹவ் ஸ்டடிட். மார்ச்ல தான் கொஞ்சம் பயம் வந்துருச்சு, எக்ஸாம் பக்கத்துல வந்துருச்சு அப்படின்னு. ஸோ தட் ஐ ஹேட் டு டெவலப் மை எஃபர்ட். ஸோ அந்த மாதிரி ஒரு யூ நீட் நாட் கோ த்ரூ அ டஃப் பீரியட். ராதர் யூ கேன் கம்ஃபர்டபுளி ப்ரிப்பேர் இஃப் யூ ஆர் ஃபோக்கஸ் ரைட் ஃப்ரம் த பிகினிங். ஸோ பிளான் இட் அவுட் ப்ராப்பர்லி. மந்த்லி பிளானிங் இஸ் வெரி இம்பார்ட்டன்ட், and again weekly detailed planning is very important. Your entire the success of your entire preparation depends whether you have planned the next 365 or 300 days in a systematic fashion or not.
So is it better to prepare our content for mains answer writing in Tamil language, that means regional language, for entire general studies, sir?
No, see, if you are comfortable, if you are appearing for the exam in Tamil, definitely you will have to do that. You don't have a choice. Otherwise, for easy memory, easier நீங்க ஞாபகம் வச்சுக்கணும், உங்களுக்கு தமிழ்ல கன்வீனியன்ட் இருந்தா definitely you can do. See, but again, நீங்க if you are appearing in the exam in English, it is better that you make notes in English only, so that you do not find difficulty while writing the examination. நம்ம இப்போ தமிழ்ல நோட்ஸ் எடுத்துட்டு நம்ம எக்ஸாமினேஷன்ல போயிட்டு அந்த டிரான்ஸ்லேஷனுக்கு வந்து we should not spend any time. ஸோ அங்கே வந்து we should not find any difficulty. Let's say for some words, ஏதாவது பர்டிகுலர் வேர்டு வந்து எனக்கு தெரியல, அது புரியல அப்படின்னா, you can use Google Translate, translate into Tamil for your own understanding. But notes making in Tamil, unless you are writing the examination in Tamil, I would not recommend it much. இந்த மாதிரி உங்களோட அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்டிங்க்கு நீங்க தமிழ்ல நீங்க டிரான்ஸ்லேட் பண்ணி பார்த்து யூ கேன் அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்ட் இட் இன் அ பெட்டர் வே. பட் நோட்ஸ் மேக்கிங்குமே வை ஐ எம் சேயிங் திஸ் இஸ், இஃப் யூ ஆர் ரைட்டிங் யுவர் எக்ஸாம் இன் இங்கிலீஷ்ல தான் எழுத போறீங்க அப்படின்னா, நீங்க இங்கிலீஷ்ல நோட்ஸ் எடுத்தா உங்களுக்கு இன்னும் அப்பவே உங்களோட அப்போ நீங்க கஷ்டப்பட்டு இங்கிலீஷ்ல நோட்ஸ் எடுத்துட்டீங்க அப்படின்னா உங்களுக்கு எக்ஸாம் எழுதும் போது கொஞ்சம் கன்வீனியன்டா இருக்கும். இல்லாட்டி நீங்க எக்ஸாம்ல உட்காந்து நீங்க யோசிக்கணும், இதை வந்து எப்படி நம்ம இங்கிலீஷ்ல டிரான்ஸ்லேட் பண்றது அப்படின்ட்டு. ஸோ அந்த எக்ஸாம்ல கஷ்டப்படுறதுக்கு வி டோன்ட் ஹாவ் எனி ஸ்கோப். எக்ஸாம் 20 questions வந்து எழுதுறதுக்கு the time is going to be very tight. ஏன்னா சில கொஸ்டின் யூ வில் ஸ்பெண்ட் 8 minutes, சில கொஸ்டின் யூ வில் டேக் 9 minutes, 10 minutes. அதே மாதிரி இதுவும் சொல்லிடுறேன், லைக் நிறைய பேர் என்ன பண்ணுவாங்கன்னா, ஒரு 15 questions நான் எழுதுறேன், 15 questions வந்து நான் நல்லா டைம் கொடுத்து ஒரு சூப்பரான ஆன்சர் எழுதிடுறேன், ஒரு 5 question வந்து நான் சுமாரான ஆன்சர் எழுதிக்கிறேன் சீக்கிரமா. இந்த மாதிரி ஒரு அப்ரோச் வந்து இட் வில் டெஃபினெட்லி நாட் ஒர்க். பிகாஸ் உங்களுக்கு மட்டும் தான் உங்களோட ஆன்சர் சூப்பரா இருக்குமே தவிர எக்ஸாமினர் will not feel the same way. Examiner is going to look at an answer like any other answer only. We might personally feel that our answer is very good, but it need not appear very good to the examiner. So rather than having such an approach, you spend equal time for all the answers. You can take 1 or 2 extra minutes, but don't spend more than 8 minutes over a particular answer. So 6 minutes, 6 to 7 minutes is the ideal time for any mains answer. So after that, towards the end, you could spend some 5-6 minutes for your presentation to mop up your presentation.
Yes, sir. What are the very common mistakes the most of the aspirants done in their early stages?
Early stages. All right. So see, we've kind of discussed it already. So first thing is that or direction every day they'll take up random subjects for reading. So if you're taking up a subject, you make it a point that you complete that subject before you move on to the other next subject. So சில பேர் வந்து நான் ஒரு 2 சாப்டர் ஜியோகிராஃபில படிக்கிறேன், அதுக்கப்புறம் 2 you can take up subjects simultaneously, but if you take up a particular subject, at least complete that particular resource that you're referring to. If you're taking up an NCERT, you finish off that NCERT, you can take up additional subject, you can complete 2 NCERTs. So what I did was I used to take up one subject which we have read during school days, and the other which requires some additional support. Let's say a combination of geography and economics. We do not have a background in economics, so I took up economics, which I was reading simultaneously with geography. So you can have such an approach. Other thing is not having a timetable. So timetable is also very important during the early stages. And again, newspaper you tend to spend more time in the newspaper, but don't try to get swayed away by the information overload. Take it all slowly. It is very important that you stay consistent throughout the entire preparation phase. It is not a 100-meter sprint or a 400-meter race, rather it's a marathon. So you'll have to go a long way. So it's going to be a marathon for 1 year. So under our focus order, you will have to organize your preparation in such a way. So these are the small mistakes. And one more thing is this point also I've discussed already. Like you tend to take a lot of advice. Now இன்னைக்கு ஒருத்தங்க வந்து ஒரு ஸ்ட்ராட்டஜி சொல்லுவாங்க, you take it up blindly and you follow it. So அந்த மாதிரி இன்னைக்கு நான் இவ்வளோ சொன்னதுமே, it is not that you'll have to follow it as such to clear the examination. there is no hard and fast rule. அந்த மாதிரி ஒரு ஃபிக்ஸ்டான ஸ்ட்ராட்டஜி இருந்தா இந்நேரத்துக்கு எல்லாருமே கிளியர் பண்ணியிருப்பாங்க. நிறைய பேர் இதை ஃபாலோ பண்ணி கிளியர் பண்ணியிருப்பாங்க. உங்களுக்கு எந்த ஸ்ட்ராட்டஜி சூட்டபிளா இருக்குன்றது you only have to devise your own strategy. So that is also one mistake that many freshers do in the initial stages.
Yes, sir. How to approach the philosophical essays, sir?
Philosophical essay, see, you need to have sufficient practice, and you need to have some content prepared for that. So I ensured that I did not attempt philosophical questions, and see, because you would have to quote some scholars, people with philosophy background, they'll be able to better do it. Otherwise, if you're from political science or PubAd SS, optional background, you'll be able to do it. Otherwise, it comes with practice only. Because understanding the question in the first place is going to be difficult if if it is for the freshers, if you're going to attempt it for the first time. So it'll take some time, and you could go through the model essays of if someone has written an essay on that already, you can go through all that, and you can prepare some points for your essay. I think I have not showed you how I prepare points for the essay. Just hold on a minute. So whenever you get an essay topic, you'll have roughly 1.5 hours to write an essay. So 1 hour, 10 minutes is more than sufficient to write any essay. And for 20 minutes, you'll have to do an extensive brainstorming and note down all the points that you have in mind. And you'll also have to structure your essay in a very good manner, because essay should have a very logical thought flow. So let me share how I prepared for my essay. So for education, so this was the, see, I just noted down all the points that would come to my mind. So let's say if you take education, you should talk about preschool, primary, secondary, higher secondary, research education, and dropout. That is one thought flow. And again, various recommendation of committees, and what are the other factors associated with it. The midday meal scheme, how it is promoting primary education. What are the opportunity cost? Why should people leave out other opportunities and come and get educated? What is the role of MHRD? So you just note down small points, and then you start getting developing content for that. And again, you can develop case studies also. When you take the example of NEET, there is a very evident rural-urban divide when it comes to approaching NEET. So such case studies are also required for when you answer an essay. Again, such topics you can finalize a list of topics. Like these topics are mostly going to appear. There are high chances for education to appear. There are high chances for healthcare to appear. So such generic topics, you can list it, and you can list down all the points that you're going to prepare or present in the examination. So these are all the generic points, and these are all the factual information that I would present if some topic on healthcare comes. And again, this is also an important thing. For every essay or every mains answer, you try to give articles from the Constitution, as well as some relevant examples from current affairs. The 2 pages for healthcare, again 2 pages for tourism. Everything I had prepared one A4 sheet full of content. So likewise, you can for philosophy also. See, most of them generally they do not take up philosophy questions, but sometimes it so happens that all the 4 questions are philosophical in nature, where you won't have a choice. So it is always better to be prepared. So in such cases, you do some brainstorming well in advance, and while writing mock test also, you try to take up 1 or 2 philosophy-based essays, so that you get some feedback from your peers as well as the evaluator. And out of the 2 essays, what I used to do was, I used to write 1 essay in the form of a story. So 1 essay was, a conventional style with, introduction, analysis, and conclusion. The second essay, I would choose 1 of the 2 essays, and the second essay I used to write in the form of a story to give a, variety in my approach. So there was 1 essay in which I don't remember exactly, but it was some analysis on India, Bangladesh issues, or how the bonhomie has been between India and Bangladesh. So I imagined a story in which there was a guy who was standing on the banks of the river in West Bengal, and he was having a conversation with a Gangetic dolphin. So the Gangetic dolphin has seen both India as well as Bangladesh. So the Gangetic dolphin is able to present both the sides of the picture. And this fellow, he's an Indian, and he's giving perspective of an Indian. So like this way I built up a story which is like it's an imaginary story, but it would give a different thought flow. It would help you write in a very attractive, very interesting fashion, so that the examiner also has a good time while reading your essay. Sir, I have a question. What are the drawbacks of cadre based allocation in civil services? All right, see, this comes at a later stage, Abhishek. You need not worry about all that right now, because there is a very long way to go, and the cadre allocation policy could change any day. Even we had it as a surprise, and that is why I lost on getting Tamil Nadu cadre. So, see, there are no drawbacks per se. There are a lot of factors at play while you get your cadre. One thing is the vacancy, and other thing is your category in which you appear, and all these factors, they play a huge role. So unfortunately there was no insider general vacancy in my year, so I had to go outside. So it doesn't matter, there are equal pros and cons in whichever state you work at. So you see, that is why there is a reason why it is an all India service. Otherwise they could have called it a central service only. There is a reason why IAS, IPS and forest service are called all India service. You are expected to perform wherever you go, and there are no regrets right now from my end for working in Odisha, though being the state topper. I am really having a good time there. So you'll all of you would also see, our desires, they never end. So once you get once you're into the service, if you're, let's say, if you're in the IPS, you would have decided to become an IAS, or if you're in some other central service, you would have decided at least to become an IPS officer or IAS officer. So your desires never end. Once you get your home state, you would say, I want some town closer to my home, I'm far away from my home. So our desires never end. So see, these days all these doesn't matter also, because right now we have good connectivity. We do have frequent flights flying from all states, so we have good connectivity these days, and doesn't matter. It would have mattered 20-30 years ago, but these days it doesn't matter, and you tend to engulf in your routine work wherever you go. So let's focus on clearing the examination, and all these comes later. Yes, Anand.
Is there some of the best Telegram channels for the aspirants?
Telegram, I think, since you guys are in the preparation right now, you will know better, because I am not in any of the Telegram channels right now. Let me check and I'll share it with you, because these days I believe there are a lot of so-called paid channels also, which I would not recommend per se, but there are a lot of free resources available online. I'm not aware of it, actually. Let me check and I'll get back.
Sure, sir. So most of the questions are relevant to your already you speak about the content, so we can skip that, sir, like that. So most of the questions are generally preparation also. So the one final question is, after IAS, what is the real situation, sir?
After the
IAS, after clearing IAS examination, so now you are an IAS officer. So what is the real situation in your side, in that posting, like that, sir?
All right. See, definitely, it is a very attractive service, and I've had a wonderful time so far. See, I'm still undergoing my training now. I'm still an officer trainee, not an officer to be called exactly. And even now we are having our phase 2 conducted online, because we were not able to make it to Mussoorie. So I'm sitting at my home right now in Dharmapuri. So that is how I was able to get some time as well to interact with all of you. So it is definitely attractive, and there is very huge scope for you to work in the field, and you can definitely bring about a lot of changes in the lives of people. There is immense respect for you as an officer, irrespective of the service. Once you clear the examination, whichever service or the department that you are posted to, there is immense service to all the officers, and all these come because you deserve it for clearing such a competitive examination. And it is also equally important that we all stay grounded even after clearing. During the initial days, you tend to be on cloud 9, but it is the academy ensures that you stay grounded, because once you enter the academy, you are one among the 180 people there, and that is a very important trait for any officer as well, because you'll have to be as approachable as possible, because you are going to interact with thousands and thousands of people during your day-to-day activity. So all these, I've had a good stint in Odisha so far. I was posted in a district called Ganjam in Andhra Odisha border. It is a district bordering Andhra Pradesh. So I've had a wonderful experience there. All the seniors, they are very welcome. They tend to be very warm, and you are taken good care of. And the service offers you a lot of exposure that no other job opportunity would provide you at this age. Let's say you are entering at the age of 24, 25, 26. There is no other job opportunity in India which would give the kind of exposure that the service offers to you. Because irrespective of the age in which you enter, the role that you are going to play is going to be the same. Even if a person enters at 37, which is the highest in a batch, or a person enters at 23, the career progression is going to be the same, and the earlier the better. And yeah, you tend to have a lot of freedom and flexibility in taking a lot of initiatives during your postings. So definitely you will enjoy it. I've been enjoying it so far, and I wish that all of you also join me on the other side as early as possible.
Sure, sir. Thank you for your better cooperation. Now we are handing over the session to Rubas.
Sir, I have one final question for you, sir, personally.
Yes, Rubash. Yes.
Could you please tell us what's on your thought on the first day of preparation, on the day of result, and now today?
All right. So see, on the first day, it was totally mixed feeling, because that was the first time I was in Delhi, and there is one more point I forgot to add. See, the difference between preparing from Delhi and other cities. Delhi is the hub for civil services, and you are going to meet. There are lakhs of aspirants preparing from there. ஸோ sometimes it is going to be intimidating. ஸோ அந்த க்ரௌடை பார்த்து நிறைய பேருக்கு வந்து ஒரு பயம் கூட வந்துடும். ஸோ அந்த மாதிரி இத்தனை பேர் ப்ரிப்பேர் பண்றாங்களா, நம்மளால முடியுமா முடியலையா. ஸோ there is one category of people who get intimidated by a crowd. There is one another category of people who get motivated by a crowd. ஓகே, இவ்வளோ காம்படிஷன் இருக்கு, நம்ம இன்னும் அதிகமா படிக்கணும், இன்னும் அதிகமா எஃபர்ட் போடணும். ஸோ இந்த மாதிரி மென்டாலிட்டியோட இருக்கிறவங்களும் ஒரு செட் ஆஃப் பீப்புள். ஸோ யூ வில் ஹவ் டு ஐடென்டிஃபை it is fine to be a part of both these set of people, but you'll have to realize to which set you belong to, and then decide on where you're going to prepare from. So எனக்கு வந்து ஃபர்ஸ்ட் டே அங்க ஓல்ட் ராஜேந்திர நகர் இஸ் த ஹப், கரோல்பாக் இஸ் த ஹப். அங்க போனதுக்கு அப்புறம் அந்த லைக் என்ன சொல்றது, இந்த எறும்பு கூட்டம் மாதிரி அப்படியே கச்ச இருப்பாங்க ஆளுங்க. ஸோ அந்த மாதிரி லைக் there will be thousands of people walking. இந்த கிளாஸுக்கு போவாங்க, அந்த கிளாஸுக்கு போவாங்க. நியூஸ் பேப்பர் சொல்லி கொடுக்கறதுக்கு தனியாக கிளாஸ் இருக்கும், ஹேண்ட் ரைட்டிங் சொல்லி கொடுக்கறதுக்கு தனியாக கிளாஸ் இருக்கும். So there is class for each and everything. It is basically a market which thrives from the money that UPSC aspirants bring there. So அந்த மாதிரி like it is such a active place. And அங்க போயிட்டு for the first time from Tamil Nadu, அங்க போயிட்டு it was a kind of a nervous feeling, பண்ண முடியுமா இல்லையா அப்படின்ட்டு. பட் ஐ ஹேட் ஒரு 4 பேர் சேர்ந்து போனோம். அண்ணா யூனிவர்சிட்டிலேருந்து ஒரு 3 பசங்க, நான் 4 பேர் சேர்ந்து போனோம். ஸோ we were there to support each other. So this is again a very crucial factor. So it is important that you keep your circle restricted, but it is very important to have a circle for your preparation. ஒரு 3-4 பேர் who are like-minded, and அந்த மாதிரி ஒரு 3-4 people restricted-ஆ வச்சுக்கிட்டு who keep each other motivated. யாராவது ஒருத்தங்க டிவியேட் ஆனா கூட இல்லடா you're not going the right track, for come back. அந்த மாதிரி ஈக்குவலா மியூச்சுவலா மோட்டிவேட் பண்ற மாதிரி ஒரு 4 பேர் ஐடென்டிஃபை பண்ணி யூ கீப் ப்ரிப்பேரிங் டுகெதர். ஸோ அவுட் ஆஃப் தோஸ் 4, 2 of us we cleared in the first attempt. There's one more friend of mine, Kalaivanan from Anna University, who has made it to the IPS was his first choice. So both of us were fortunate to crack it. We were able to do it together. So அந்த மாதிரி like you should have a healthy relationship. ஒரு 4-5 பேர் சேர்ந்துக்கிட்டு you can prepare. So the first day preparation went like that. We were there to support each other, and on the day of result, that has been the most wonderful feeling any aspirant can have, Most all of you would also face that someday. So there is no words that could match the feelings that I had that day. One unfortunate thing was I was still in Delhi. I was preparing for prelims, the next prelims, because we are not sure how the results would turn out. So, and my parents were also, out of town. They were not in Tamil Nadu. So they had to cancel their trip, and it took some time for them to come back. And I also came back immediately from Delhi. So definitely, people are going to cry when you clear it. Like ஆனந்த கண்ணீர் அப்பதான் உங்களால பார்க்க முடியும் கண்டிப்பா. So that was the day when I cleared the examination. And today, as I told you, I feel responsible. I feel more grounded. And one important thing is GCT is always special to me because my father is from GCT 83 batch. So adanala GCT or any government college for that matter is always special for me. I've given a talk in GC Salem also. So all these principals are from the same batch. Principal GC and the Tamarai ma'am from GCT, they're all batchmates to my father. So Neth GCT 83 batch they were sharing the poster, and they were also planning to join. A few of the 83 batch alumni, they were planning to join, but I think due to in the participant restriction, I think they were not able to. But they have asked us to record it. I think Rubash is recording it. They'll be happy to watch this sometime.
Yes, sir.
So the GCT is always special to me, and when Rubash mailed me, it is indeed an honor for me to talk to you guys, because people from GCT are very competent, and you do reach great heights. And my best wishes for all of you as well. For any kind of doubts, you can feel free to reach out to me. And
My
we
pleasure.
can, if there are two more questions, we can take up till 1 o'clock, or else we can close the session.
Oh, okay, sir. Anand, if there is any question, you can ask.
Some people have raised hands. Let's see. Hari Krishnan, let me unmute him and see.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Hari Krishnan, are you there? You can unmute yourself.
Sir.
Yes, Hari Krishnan. Yes, tell me. Yes.
Sir, as a beginner, how to prepare, sir? Overall strategy.
எதுங்க?
Next year தான் சார் appear ஆக போறேன் 2021ல.
Okay.
ஓவரால் ஸ்ட்ராட்டஜி என்ன சார்? எப்படி ஸ்டார்டிங்ல இருந்து கடைசி வரையும் எந்த மாதிரி போகலாம்? இப்பவே ஒரு பிளான் தேவைப்படுது. நெக்ஸ்ட் இயர் வந்து இப்ப அக்டோபர் எக்ஸாம் ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணிருக்காங்க. நெக்ஸ்ட் இயர் அக்டோபர் நடக்குமா இல்ல ஜூன் நடக்குமா? அந்த மாதிரி ஏதாச்சும்.
இப்போ இந்த கோவிட் சிச்சுவேஷன்ல இட் இஸ் டோட்டலி அன்சர்டைன். அண்ட் இப்போதைக்கு அக்டோபர்ல டேட் கொடுத்துருக்காங்க. பட் இஃப் எவ்ரி திங் ஃபால்ஸ் இன் பிளேஸ் இட் வில் டெஃபினெட்லி ஹேப்பன் அக்டோபர்ல. அண்ட் பீப்புள் எல்லாருக்கும் சென்டர் மாத்திரத்துக்கும் ஐ திங்க் தேவ் அலவுட். ஸோ இட் இஸ் கன்வீனியன்ட் ஃபார் யூ டு சேஞ்ச் யுவர் சென்டர். ஏதாவது வீட்டுக்கு பக்கத்தில் இருக்க சென்டர் போட்டு பீப்புள் ஆர் அப்பியரிங் திஸ் அக்டோபர். சி இட்ஸ் அ பீரியட் ஆஃப் அன்சர்டனிட்டி. அண்ட் அடுத்த வருஷம் ஜூன்ல நடக்குமான்றது, ஏன்னா இந்த அக்டோபர்லயே நடக்குமா இல்லையான்றது டிபெண்ட்ஸ். they'll take a call only in September. So hopefully it should happen. And நீங்க அடுத்த வருஷம் ஜூன்ல அப்பியர் ஆக போறீங்கன்னா இட் வில் ஹேப்பன் இன் ஜூன் ஒன்லி. ஏன்னா இப்போ அக்டோபர்ல நடந்தாலும் அடுத்த வருஷம் அக்டோபர்ல நடக்காது. கண்டிப்பா ஜூன்ல they'll come back to the conventional timetable. ஏன்னா அக்டோபர்ல நடத்திட்டு ஆல்ரெடி they have released the timetable for mains and interview also. Everything is getting concluded before June. ஸோ அதனால நெக்ஸ்ட் இயர் எக்ஸாமினேஷன் கண்டிப்பா ஜூன்ல தான் நடக்கும். ஒரு ஓவரால் ஸ்ட்ராட்டஜி அதுதான் we have been discussing over the entire VC. we've been discussing that. So first thing, நீங்க you start from somewhere, எங்கேயாச்சும் ஆரம்பிச்சுட்டு you have a fixed timetable. அதே மாதிரி அந்த டைம் டேபிள் ஃபாலோ பண்ணிட்டு உங்களுக்கே தெரிய வரும் லைக் நம்ம கரெக்டான இதுல போறோமா இல்லையா அப்படின்ட்டு. யூ டூ த ரெக்வயர்ட் கோர்ஸ் கரெக்ஷன், எங்கெல்லாம் தேவையான கரெக்ஷன் பண்ணிட்டு யூ கேன் கீப் ஃபாலோயிங் தட். ஏதாவது ஸ்பெசிஃபிக்கா ஏதாவது ஃபியூச்சர்ல டவுட்ஸ் இருந்ததுன்னா யூ கேன் கான்டாக்ட். ஹூஸ் இஸ் ரெட்மி யாரோ they have raised the hand.
Hello, sir.
Yes. Please introduce yourself.
Sir, I am okay, sir. I just completed my BTech Chemical Engineering. I have a doubt, sir, because during this COVID situation, I started off joining in the coaching, but during this COVID situation, no coaching class are there. So, being a beginner, I don't know how to start the preparation or reading a newspaper. I took a newspaper and it takes nearly 3 hours at the starting, and the Hindu newspaper just reading at the first time we can't able to follow the issues. And so being a beginner, how should I start, and how should I start my general studies preparation? Because this at this situation there is no coaching. I should start my self preparation. So how should I start? I should move on with the schedule, sir.
All right. Okay. So, okay. For beginners, we've discussed all these points already, but I'll quickly touch upon it again. And one thing is, if you are willing to take up classes, there are many online courses available these days. Many people have started online coaching also. Most of the prominent institutes have started. So you can check that option also. And for beginners, as I discussed in the previous with the previous speaker, you prepare a timetable. You start off with one of your favorite subjects. You start somewhere, and you try to have a timetable. Take printouts of the syllabus, stick it in your study table, and try to cover the syllabus slowly over a period of 6 to 7 months. Again, for newspaper reading, try to relate articles with the newspaper articles with the syllabus, and the syllabus கூட ஒரு ஆர்டிகல் உங்களால் ரிலேட் பண்ண முடிஞ்சதுன்னா it is definitely important. And definitely initial daysல கண்டிப்பா 3 hours ஆகும். Over a period of time, you'll be able to bring it down to half an hour to 45 minutes. For any aspirant, it will definitely take half an hour to 45 minutes to prepare read the newspaper towards the end of his preparation stage. Prelims முன்னாடி படிக்கிறீங்க அப்படின்னா கண்டிப்பா you'll have to spend half an hour 45 minutes. Again, before mains, அவ்வளோ டைம் ஆகும். But otherwise, during the initial stages, it is fine. But try to restrict it over a period of time.
Sir, I think it's time for you, and it's immense pleasure for me to think along with you, like living in Dharmapuri, studying the same school and GCT also. It's immense pleasure to me, sir. I think soon I will also join the Labasna you joined. Thank you for our immense time, sir. I thank our principal, respected principal ma'am, and respected staff in charge Savadra Devi ma'am for this time session. I thank you for your time, sir. Thank you for all the participants for participating in this session. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, Rubash. All right, we'll discuss over WhatsApp.
Yes, sir.
And if anyone has any query, you can contact me over mail.
Please make me.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.